So I added a dev null channel to my Discord server. I thought it would be an interesting little project, and I did this because I noticed that another server that I was on actually had something like this, but it kept breaking all the time. In fact, it got to a point where a lot of us were kind of used to making fun of the fact that it was telling us it should have reset a day ago, or 2 days ago, or in one case, 5 days ago. The fact is, it just wasn't updating and resetting itself or recycling the channel in the correct way. And so I thought about it, and I got tired of posting the timestamps in the meme channel because it was annoying me. And I thought maybe this would be a great way to let the admins know, hey, this isn't working. How can I help? And I realized that they were not responsive because they didn't care. It was a simple problem to them. It was something that was lower priority. I wasn't going to get the ability to have a discussion about this or ask how I could help. But you know what? I still wanted to provide a solution. So I went out and I built my own version of it. 20 lines of code later, I had a working solution that fulfilled all of my requirements and provided the exact same functionality. But it was just for a single server. So I thought about it and thought, okay, fine. I've got the minimal viable product done. What is the problem? Now that I know what the actual problem looks like, let's refactor this. Let's get the clean code on. Let's make this something that I can literally use on any server by simply setting an API key in the environment and be done. So that's what I did. And I've got here it says, oh wait, that's the wrong one. I have too many. There it is. I have too many IDEs open at the moment. And so I've got 106 lines of code here. If you take all the comments away, it's 100 lines of code. And I find that interesting because I went from a 20-line initial solution for the minimal viable product, and it grew to 100 lines of code for the full working, what I'm just going to call a business solution. Now, if you're familiar with the Pareto principle, you'll find that you're not really surprised by these numbers. But I think it's kind of interesting that we've gone from a 20% effort for 100% of the solution to 100% of the solution. And it's not only a better solution, but it has all the same functionality, but just better in a more reusable way. And I think this is really what it comes down to when it comes down to software and the effort to get something done one time versus the effort to make it repeatable. You're going to get a minimal viable product solution done quickly. It's going to take you about 20% of the effort. And if you know about the Pareto principle, you understand why. Go look that up. In fact, let me just let's see Wikipedia. So I want a Wikipedia page that I can throw on here for you guys. And go look this up. Effectively, there is a mathematical basis for why it took me only 20 lines of code to solve the problem, but 100 lines of code to provide the full working business solution. Alexa, shut up. And from my perspective, the fun thing about it is that you can actually do the math and see that everything's in alignment here. But when you look at the code, the initial 20% of the effort, those initial 20 lines of code, they might solve the problem, but it's a one-time deal. You have to edit that, and, throw in a new API key, whatever, to get it to work on a different server. The business value here is that now I have a script I can run on any server. I can provide this functionality to any Discord server without having to edit the code at all. I literally just throw up a virtual environment, install the Discord Pi API stuff, throw in a few dependencies, set the API bot key in memory using an environment variable, and then I run it and I'm done. And the Chrome does this all for me as part of the GitHub action anyway. In fact, that was probably it wasn't the hardest part, but it was definitely the fun part because now I have it running on GitHub infrastructure for free because I didn't want to deal with hosting for it. So I made it a GitHub action via cron that just runs once a day in line with how the script is run. It's done. I get a I get a channel that resets itself every day. I don't even have to host the infrastructure for it. But that's the point. You put in the extra effort and you get more value out of it. It's not just about those 20 lines of code versus the 100 lines of code. Because if I got rid of all the comments, it wouldn't be as valuable. I don't think that a junior developer could follow the code as easily because it's an API that they themselves probably are not aware of. And so as a result of that, there's value in making it a more robust solution. We can go over the analysis and the math and the Gini coefficient and the Hoover index and all the different applications for this. But this is not just this is not just a computer science problem, but it is a computer science problem, right? And so the thing that you have to understand is that getting something working one time is not the same as shipping a production quality solution to customers. Yeah, you can write the code, you can write the function, run it locally. Technically, you've got it working. But how are you going to ship that? Because we're not going to ship your computer. Think about this. Okay. This isn't just quality control. This isn't just making sure that you have a robust solution so you don't have to edit the code every time. It's about providing value and it's about making sure that the value you're providing does the hard work to make things easy for others.